try this experiment, Swam, right? Try eating khichdi for 3 days in a row, non-stop, without anything in the middle. And please don't put rasam on the top and on the side, or sambar, like, or kochumbari, or whatever it is that you eat. Just plain, and not pongal, by the way. Pongal is one of the most interesting things invented by mankind, in my opinion. But this is just boiled rice and boiled tur dal and boiled rice and no salt. Now imagine you eat that for 3 days without any filter coffee in the middle. Fourth day, at the sight of khichdi, you will puke. Guaranteed. Not eaten, sight. That is exactly what you're doing in our schools, or we are doing in our schools.
Welcome to another edition of Contra Minds. In this episode, I am in conversation with Professor Manish Jain. Professor Manish Jain is an associate teaching professor at IIT Gandhinagar. He is also the principal coordinator of the Center for Creative Learning at IIT Gandhinagar. CCL's focus is to make learning an engaging experience for both teachers and students through creativity and innovation, with a core focus on understanding and communicating fundamental concepts. Over the course of his time leading CCL, Professor Manish Jain has touched the lives of over 6,000 teachers and 50,000 students across India through CCL's workshops and learning initiatives. Over to my conversation with Professor Manish Jain. So before I really get into the topic and I get deep into what your teaching philosophy and the methodologies and the way you approach teaching math, and I was absolutely stunned and amazed at the way you explained the basic concepts. That really got me excited. Before I get into all of that, let me ask you a question. In your early days, which is really when you were a child, and when you went to school, right now you are teaching math the way it has to be more joyful, more fun. How was it for you as a student?
That's long time back, but yeah, no. No, I was actually a regular student, even though I had an elder brother, and but we didn't live together. He was living with my grandparents, and I lived with my parents. But I remember myself as a regular student who I didn't particularly, I would say, if you're talking about mathematics specifically, I think I enjoyed the subject. I enjoyed working on the problems that happened in the school, and so on and so forth. Not to say that there was anything special that the school or the teachers were trying to do, but it was just I think I liked, and now that you asked the question, I distinctly remember that I remember in class 12, which is when we were also preparing for the this IIT exam. I remember there was CBSE board. One of the questions was very interesting, and it was very unusual because they would not ask such questions. And when I looked at that, I really felt good, solving that. So there was this sense of joy that I felt while solving. But I would add at the same time, the motivation behind solving a lot of those things were not necessarily the joy of the math itself, but it was more of what I can get, or how that would help in my pursuit, if I can use that word. A pursuit at that time was to sort of follow my brother's footsteps into this supposedly the best engineering college in India, which was IIT Kanpur, and that was pretty much I think my interest there was not for the love for the this or that, although it is interesting, but it was more to sort of make sure that I don't want to be called a loser in some sense, having a brother, elder brother, who sort of made it, and this guy didn't, and was a I at least wanted to get out of the house and at least get some admission in some college. The private colleges didn't exist that time, and maybe even if they did, they were pretty expensive. So I had to. So I think I would say that is what it was. I think I liked it, but I did not have the experience of that joyfulness of I wasn't exposed to that. And that, in fact, is the most shocking thing. And which is what I sometimes have said when I get the opportunity. It was only at the age of 38 I realized that this is such an interesting subject. I mean, after that I did engineering and this or whatever. And even there, I used to often wonder. I did electrical engineering from IIT Kanpur, but I don't think I could enjoy the subject. I did it because that is what the top rankers did, and that is what they did to get a job, and then they work, and all of that. And the work was interesting too. I did chip design, all of that, but it wasn't, it wasn't the joy while studying. It wasn't the joy of learning signal. I mean, very interesting courses. I mean, electrical engineering, of course, is a beautiful subject, right? But we never, like for instance, we did this course called Signals and Systems, I remember. And, when we are sending these bits, like you and I are talking, right? We are sending this information, and my voice is getting converted into signals and A to D, D to A, all of that, and it reaches you, and then you will send it through podcast, wherever. I mean, there is signal, there is information that is coming from me to you. And this guy who was like the father of, this, I forget his name, one of the most polymath, his name beats me. I mean, he's considered the father of information theory.
Okay.
Claude Shannon, I'm sorry. So Claude Shannon, and just an amazing guy. And so Claude Shannon is this guy. And I remember we did this course on signals and systems where we thought about everything that had to be done, right? How much is the information that can be sent through a signal? Is that we never talked about Claude Shannon as a person. Right? The kind of person that he was, the maze that he designed, the first guy to have ever designed a machine that can play a chess and win against amazing things this guy did. And of course, he also was a unicyclist, I think. And things like that. Now, those are the things that can inspire people when they are, 19-year-olds or 20-year-olds. Look, here is this guy who did information theory and all of that. But, this is his life. This is who he was as a person. This is what he did, and information theory and things like that. So I think the context, which in my opinion is extremely important, to humanize education in some sense, to bring context, to bring history, is something that I think our teachers felt is probably eating into our time, that that I'll have to teach them this formula, and of course if I talk about Claude Shannon, that takes away 15 minutes, and so maybe I should do that. But I think that is, in my opinion, a mistake that we made, and I think that has led to a lot of people not pursuing things that they can and should pursue, because they don't know the joy side of it. Of course, most of the work that we do in our life, like I was talking to somebody, is 80% will always be, no matter what you do, no matter, Swami, you do podcast. I mean, the interesting part will be talking to different people, but then the 80% of the time will be other junk that you have to do for the podcast to go online, things like that. So in any profession, 80% is junk, but that 20% of thing that brings that joy is something that we should not and cannot miss. And that is, I think, that context, that history, that hands-onness of things that we do was sort of missing. And I when I realized that, I think that is when, but it was, it was late. It was 38. And I vividly remember that story, right? And I think I was 38 or something, or something like that, 38. I realized around that time that I don't want to work for a corporation for the love of, I mean, it was great. I was doing chip design. I was, director of R&D in Bangalore for a large chip design software corporation. Great place to work, all of that. But there was this thing of doing something more meaningful, something more that brings me in touch with, people around us and things like that. More meaningful, I would say. And that was a quest. And I remember I said that around 38, I will not work for money, if I can use that word, although, of course, I'm still getting paid. Your tax dollars come to IIT, and I get my salary. Of course, our lab is sustainable. So, people who work here, we raise our own funds to run the lab. But what I was saying was that 1930, when I was 39, when I was 38, I read this story about, this is the most fascinating story. Mathematics, right? all we have ever thought of, and I'll add to that story in a minute. There's another story that is part of it. We have heard that, this something called pi, and then pi is always in, circles, right? Anything to do with pi is a circle, right? Circle, you take a cylinder, there is pi. You take a sphere, there is pi. You take a cone, there is pi. You take a regular circle, everything is. So, there's this notion that we say, oh, pi means that, circumference to diameter. Okay, that ratio is pi, and great. There's nothing more to it. That is it, and that. No history of how we did pi. No history of the 5 decimals place. Was only required 3.14159, which was what was done by Indian Kerala School of Science, Madhava, I think. Madhava. He and that was the value that was used for so many years, because we didn't need any more precision than that, right? In fact, people say that, I forget, like 15 decimal places of precision are enough to reach us to the last point in our universe, right? I mean, jitna bada universe hai, all we can do with is just 15 places of decimal of pi, something like 15 to 20. Yet today we have like billions. I think the record is about 10 billion decimal places of pi. Anyway, so pi was all of that. I was shocked when I read that if you have, like for instance, draws lots of parallel lines on floor, start dropping sticks of equal length randomly on the floor. Some of them will touch the line, some will not. That ratio will be pi.
Oh, is it?
I was completely shocked. These are straight lines. And imagine same thing. Then we did later on when we were doing in 3037 episode on pi, we realized same thing, right? You have neem trees falling down on these brick road, right? Brick has these, brick is like largely, straight lines, right? I mean, so lots of parallel straight lines. You count the number of leaves that fall within the bricks and that touch the junction of 2 bricks. That ratio is pi, of course, based on this. That is shocking. I was like, dude, this is, so now, before I look at the proof as to why it is, the fact is that pi doesn't exist only in circles. There is this supposedly straight line, and that's where pi is sitting. Now, this is important because it shows this gets this sense of wonder, right? We have not left anything for our children to wonder about, right? This example of Einstein saying the reason he discovered relativity was because he used to wonder, how will the world look like if he rode a beam of light? Right? I'm not kidding. This is what he said in his Walter Isaacson's book. Imagine you switch on a torchlight and immediately the torchlight comes, and imagine you sit on that torchlight and you go wherever the light goes. What will the world look like? I don't know what it looked like, but he says he used to constantly wonder about it. And that is when he said, nothing can be greater than speed of light, this, that, whatever. And story of relativity came in. Now, that is what I'm saying is important. We will have to make sure the education is such that this sense of wonder, these questions which have either they have answer or they don't, I don't know, but something, and we don't have to give them the answer, we don't have to tell them. It's just that curriculum, that thing has to be spiced with such stuff. I'm not saying we don't teach formulas. I'm not saying we don't do algorithms. We should definitely do that. We should definitely mug up our the tables and this and that. All of that is good, important. But that spice, but that joy, but that wonder, if you take it out, we do not eat such taste. In fact, in South India, I wish, I don't know, you live in Bombay, but I'm assuming you are from the southern part of India. I felt that such beautiful, I think we are digressing, but such beautiful cuisine. I wish, sometimes I wish, people in Tamil Nadu, the number of, rasam recipes that we have in Tamil Nadu, I wish we had spent that kind of time or interest doing something more, whatever it is. Right? But just beautiful cuisine, and that's a different topic altogether. But I thought that this is the kind, and later, just like 3 weeks back, or maybe about a month or a month and a half back, we were doing this second episode on pi. I realized something even more interesting. And then when I do these things, when I find these things, that is what I get joyous about. And I feel sad. Yaar, humko kyun nahi bataya tha? Like you were asking, right? It doesn't exist, yaar. The most interesting stories about mathematics or science or whatever are not part of the curriculum. And I'm not blaming anybody. I'm not saying, and I don't even want to get there, why they are or they are not. I just feel sad that they are not. And that is why I thought let us just do that. We will try to compile these stories. We will try to tell these stories, and we will try to make stuff more joyous and make you fall in love. Like I say, love marriage ho jaye. Pi, like they were saying, right? Pi is of course ratio of circle to diameter, but that is only when the circle is static. Imagine if you take a circle and start spinning, just like a bicycle moves. No? The wheel of the bicycle spins and also moves, right?
Yeah.
Trace the point of that nozzle where you fill the air, right? It's called the valve, right? The path that it takes is like a semicircle, right? Almost a semicircle. It's not a semicircle, of course. It's called a cycloid. The most amazing thing is it looks like a semicircle. It is still spinning. Everything is sort of circular. So if the circle is stable, the circumference is 2 pi, assuming the radius is 1. This guy, when the circle is spinning and also moving on a straight line, that length is 8.
8, is it?
8.
Okay.
The pi has gone, meaning the pi has been vanished. There is no pi. Now, how do I justify? How do I say, where did the pi go? Just because the circle starts to spin and move, the pi has disappeared. Before the circle was not moving, there was pi. It was 2 pi. So from 6.28, which is roughly 2 pi, it has gone to 8. But pi gayab ho gaya. Something was totally irrational has become rational number. This is a story we need to tell when we talk about rational or irrational numbers. Whether we get the answer or not, an answer, I think, when we do first year of engineering, we will do integration, this, that, whatever, we'll find out. But that question that makes you wonder is gone. No wonder we are not getting, Fields Medal in India, whatever. I mean, we are not leaving our children with these questions, with these interesting stories, with these interesting things that can inspire and give you that sense of wonder. So very long answer to your very short question.
Well, it's a fantastic point. I can't agree with you more on this. Which brings me to the next question. What will it take for us to teach mathematics the way you are talking at the school level, right? Because there is an interesting story that I read about your interaction with Arvind Gupta, and that's really where, for you, it was a moment that you decided that this is something that you want to do. And now you've dedicated your whole life doing this. What does it take for us to get this to schools? Because that's really where primary mathematics need to be taught. If you really need to build primary science as an interest, as, if you really want to become a world power tomorrow, the kind of, leaders in science and mathematics, if we need, it needs to be taught at the school level, right? So what needs to be done to transform this? You do it at the college level. I read about the interesting foundation course at IIT Gandhinagar that happens. But clearly, what does it take to do what you're talking about? Because that joy and that understanding of the concept has to happen at that level for us to get some great mathematicians and great science minds. How do we do that?
So I think they're already there. It's just that all the minds and all the science and all of them are there. It's just that we are not pursuing them. We are not catching them, or we are not, inspiring them or motivating them, whatever you want to say. But I would actually say that, I think we'll have to sort of maybe leave the purpose a little bit, because then it gets very loaded. Oh, we have to do this because we need to become world power and super and this. I would say, and like you said, while we are working with students at IIT, foundation programs. In fact, we have done foundation programs at 8 different IITs. Every single IIT is saying that, why don't you come and set up a lab like this in IIT Kanpur, where I am from, IIT Delhi, Palakkad, Bhilai, Jammu, and I forget Mandi and Jammu. So I haven't been to Madras and or Kharagpur, but other than that, while we do, most of our work is actually with teachers, right? And so I think when you are asking this question of, how do we get to schools? I think the answer in my mind, or in my opinion, I think it is the teachers we will have to sort of work on. And that is what, at least I feel, we will have to spend our energies on, because these are, we can directly reach the students or teachers or whatever. You can, which is what the effort is, right? This 30-30 program, which is online, which is in essence, is to become more democratic. It's right there on your internet. You watch this episode, come fall in love, you like a few things and you follow and this, that. But in a very institutional, in a very systemic way, if we want to look at this problem, we will have to somehow look at our teachers and we will have to handhold them. And when we talk about, I mean, it's amazing, right? When we talk about teachers training, you talk to any teacher in India and ask them, here is this teacher training, why don't you go? And every single, I guarantee you, will say no. We have done infinite number of teacher training, and all that happens there is people come and present, PowerPoints, and that's it. And somewhere I think we'll have to see that we will have to hand. So it's very easy for us to say, oh, that teachers have to become creative. We can all announce, we can tomorrow put out a big thing in paper and say, every teacher shall be creative from tomorrow. Dude, every teacher will be creative from tomorrow, right? Like I say, अच्छे इंसान बनिए. I'm sort of supposedly from Bania community. अच्छे इंसान बनिए. अरे कैसे बनेंगे अच्छे इंसान? यार, you have left the teachers in vacuum. How do you expect teachers to be creative from tomorrow? We will have to handhold our teachers. We will have to work. So while we do a lot of these. And you go look at, this is sort of a challenge. Go look at lots of these, whether it's a board, whether it's education, whether it's a private school, or every stuff website will be, formalities or things that we need to do. Oh, for this, fill this form, then you will get admission to this school. For this is the fee structure, blah, blah. Private school, government school, this, that. But the most important thing in the school is the content, is what is it that we do, interesting resources, stuff that really educate. Usse juda, there is nothing, almost nothing about content or real stuff that we're going to talk about in the schools. So resources are missing, content is missing. I think what we have to do is to really, really work with that teachers. I think we are serving khichdi to our students, and that to 19,200 hours of khichdi, 8 hours a day, 200 days in a year, 12 years in a row. You can do the math. It is 19,200 hours, and I'm not adding this coaching khichdi and Akash khichdi and Alan khichdi and this and that. No, I'm not adding that. I'm just adding some khichdi that everybody has to eat, and this is the khichdi that we eat. And the most, so try this experiment, right? Try eating khichdi for 3 days in a row, non-stop, without anything in the middle. And please don't put rasam on the top and on the side, or sambar, or kochumbari or whatever it is that you eat. Just plain, and not pongal, by the way. Pongal is one of the most interesting things invented by mankind, in my opinion. But this is just boiled rice and boiled tur dal and boiled rice and no salt. Now imagine you eat that for 3 days without any filter coffee in the middle. 4th day, at the sight of khichdi, you will puke. Guaranteed. Not eaten, sight. That is exactly what you're doing in our schools, or we are doing in our schools, right? We are giving them this raw khichdi and expecting them to puke in the exam, and then we expect the Tamil Nadu board or CBSE board or Karnataka board or UP board to give them marks, right? And that is, and we are happy. So students are happy, parents are happy. 100 number aa gaye bacche ke. My daughter will be 100 marks, great. I mean, somewhere now, imagine if this is what, and the best part is, children are eating this khichdi for 19,200 hours. Teachers are serving this khichdi till they die. Like 40 years, 50 years, same khichdi. Now imagine this khichdi. I'm not saying khichdi is not important. Khichdi, let's assume it's curriculum. Khichdi is important. Along with this khichdi, on the side, you add dhokla, jalebi, sambar, rasam, whatever else that you want to add, ghee, lots of ghee, this and that. Now it becomes, and it's not a lot, right? It's just like the side dishes that make it appetizing. This is exactly what needs to be done with the curriculum. And the people who are serving khichdi have to be at least joyous faced. They are like the saddest people, in my opinion, jinki sabki, all of them have either been divorced meaning, I'm not talking their personal lives, but in my opinion, most of our education, this is the first question that we ask, by the way, in our workshops. Our teacher workshops are 22 days. Can you imagine 22 days we can sort of, you come to our workshop, we will, put you in IIT Gandhinagar hostel for 22 days. And all government employees, mostly, we do private workshops, private school workshops also, but we have done a lot with government teachers, right? State government, central government. They will come for 22 days. Their expectation is, it's a very interesting story. So next time, Swami, and I thought I'll tell you this story also. So next time you are stuck in let's say, these days online, everybody is doing online workshop, seminar. But imagine you are stuck in a boring workshop, right? And most workshops are boring and most talks are boring because, we are just generally giving gyan, not telling. In my opinion, stories are the most important thing that we'll have to add to it. And there is, of course, an art to storytelling. And you don't learn that art, you will have to experience, you have to feel, once you feel passionate, stories come. But imagine you're stuck in a boring workshop. I will tell you the best way to survive a boring workshop. And this is what our teachers told us when they came for the 22 workshop, 22 real story, right? She came with a large, big water bottle. I said, ma'am, what are you doing? Why are you carrying this? And I don't want to name her name, but she said, sir, sorry, I cannot tell you. I said, nahi, bata do. And okay. She says, sir, this is the best way of surviving a workshop, a 10-day, a 22-day workshop, without making the facilitator feel bad. And so how? She said, okay, if I have a big water bottle, I will have to go out. I'll say, sir, pani bharna hai, please let me go out. So that is one good reason to go out of the workshop. And then, you can do your WhatsApp, talk, this, that. I mean, once you go out, nobody's bothered, to bring you back in. And then she said, sir, one more. Right? If you drink a lot of water, you also need a bio break. So you have one more reason to go back and not come and say, this is what our teachers have invented to survive a teacher training. Right? And in our workshop, what we will do is we said, there is Wi-Fi all across the campus. There is no attendance. We will give you a certificate regardless. We will send it to your board regardless, whether you attend or not. Your call. Please come or not come. It's a 4-hour workshop, 2 hours in the morning, 2 hours in the evening. You will not imagine, everybody has Wi-Fi, everybody has phone. We never ever announce, please switch off your phones or don't take your call. Nobody takes a call. Nobody does not. Nobody, like 100 people, 0. And the 4-day workshops goes on for 6 hours. Why? Because we are telling stories. People are saying, look, sir, this has been the best workshop in 31 years of service. Lots of testimonials. We have done 110 workshops, but no workshop we have sat through. Forget about attending and remembering this, and that's why the 4-hour goes on to 6 hours, because it's always this, ab ye kahani kahan jayegi? Ab kya batayenge? Like, one of my biggest inspirations / whatever you want to call, is this movie called 3 Idiots. I don't know if you have seen this, right?
Yeah, of course I've seen it.
Right? I mean, I have seen it like umpteen time, maybe 20, 30, 40 times. In fact, I was telling my daughter, aaj fir se dekhte hain. But imagine this dialogue, right? That is what has to be every teacher's motto. Aaj Swami apni zindagi ke aap 30 second rewind या 1 घंटा rewind करके देखिए. आप क्या सोच कर आए थे इस podcast में? कुछ मजा आएगा, कुछ नई चीज देखेंगे, या फिर यार एक काम करना है, अब क्या करें, नौकरी चलानी है, we'll have to do a podcast, I will do it. I mean, that is the question that the students have to ask and teachers have to ask themselves, right? क्यों मैं आज ये क्लास में जा रहा हूँ? Why am I going to the class? What is it that I'm going to do? What is it that I'm going to do? What is it that I'm going to learn? That students that are sitting on the other side, that is a very fundamental question that needs to be asked and answered. Even more important in online education. Why? Because the other side, like we did online in the pandemic, we did our teachers workshop, again, the same 22-day workshop, but it was all online. You should look at that feedback. I mean, it was the most eye-watering feedback, or most hirday ko chhune wala feedback hai. The person, he was, I think, just going to retire. He was 68-year-old, and his feedback we have recorded, and with his permission, it is online. He's saying, sir, when I got this message of attending this workshop, I thought I'm going to say no because I have a medical reason. He had a tragedy in the family. And he says, the only reason I attend to this workshop is because in those 4 hours, I'm able to forget my grief.
Amazing.
It is cathartic in that sense, right? It is cathartic for me. I mean, this pandemic has been, it has just, लोगों की जिंदगियां बर्बाद कर रखी हैं. And then one has to then talk about the meaning of science, and maybe in some other talk we should talk about it. What is the real purpose of science? I mean, there are people who have the formula for the vaccine and they feel that they should not share it with the public. I feel there is no point in any education if this is what people who go to school and go to college end up thinking, right? It is great to make money. It is great to run corporations. But when people are dying, right? And I have something that I can share which can save lives, and I have made enough money already, and I'm still not willing, for whatever be the reason, I'm still not willing to share my formula, so that, it just beats me. I mean, it just makes me sad that that is the state of affairs. And anyway, so coming back, I think one of the most interesting things I would say has to be our teachers, right? We will have to make sure that they end up enjoying some of what they do. Some of what, look, I'm not saying everything cannot be enjoyed. You will have to correct the copies and you have to give them exams and this and that, but at least some part of it can be enjoyable. आप खाना खाते हो तो very clear example यार, रोटी सब्जी तो खाते हो लेकिन साइड में कुछ अचार रखते हो ना यार. Why is it that we do not do that? And I think that is what has to be, बहुत जरूरी है. I feel absolutely, and this is exactly what we do. We say we will provide you that achar. You start to integrate in your curriculum and make sure some of, at least not all, at least some will become, engaged, interested, and they will cover the curriculum whichever way they want to cover. We have just got them inspired. The most important role has to be my teacher. Despite internet, despite whatever. And most importantly, teaching in that sense has to become also something that teachers feel proud about, right? And mostly teachers are looking for external, in our society, unfortunately, in most countries, like 99.9% countries, teachers have lost the respect. And they are not the highest paid individuals. They are not the elitist of the elite, except for few Nordic countries or whatever. So, कहाँ से वो respect आएगा? उसमें समय लगेगा to get us to a state where, I remember my times. My dad used to say the high school teacher in that village was one of the most respected individual. Imagine high school teacher, because there were very few learned people that time, and that guy earned that teacher. She earned the respect, right? I can vouch. When people look at this human development index, this, that, or whatever, the state of any society, you can measure by the state of the teacher in that society. You can, आप टीचर का HDI देख लो, उससे आप पूरी सोसाइटी का निकाल सकते हो. टीचर जिस देश में, जिस समाज में उस शिक्षक की इज्जत नहीं है, where a teacher is not respected for whatever reason. I'm not saying who is to blame. Teachers are themselves to blame. This is to blame that. I'm not going there. I'm just saying the state and that will. And so somewhere, while teachers wait for external validation, how about just doing it for the love of it, right? Why don't I just enjoy? Because there are things to be enjoyed, right? Regardless of what, because unfortunately I have to do the job, right? I have to run my family, so I need the job. I need to, this. So while we are doing all of this, I am married, right, to this profession as an arranged marriage or whatever marriage it is. Now that has happened, either I move out, which I cannot because of circumstances. So what is the point in me jig every day going to school? Why don't I start enjoying it? That will at least bring peace to this relationship. That and that how it cannot happen in vacuum, which is where I think this achar will help. This stuff will help you make him fall in love.
Brilliant. So tell me, for me to understand, in this 22 days, what are the 3-4 principles or stuff that you say really brings the love of teaching back to them? Because typically, when a teacher teaches you, one of the things that I always see is that when you keep asking them more and more fundamental questions, okay, the more frustration starts to happen. Because I might be an interesting student, but really the challenge is that I myself do not know about the basic concepts, right? So I get frustrated, and therefore you're teaching for the average and not you're teaching for the inquisitive mind, right?
Sure.
So therefore, what do you do in this workshop that probably, there are examples that a parent can take, a person, and this actually, Professor Manish Jain, what I find is this has implications in actually workplace also.
No, absolutely.
So therefore, there is this inquisitive mind which keeps asking questions, and therefore, the fundamental problem is I really do not know the basic concepts.
Right.
So when I don't know the basic concepts, when inquisitive child keeps asking the questions, because somewhere what I read was we are prepared to reproduce or memorize something but not say something. So therefore, in this workshop, what do you do?
And in these 22 days.
In 22, what do you pick up? And can you give me some examples of how do you make this come alive? So that, if a parent or if somebody who's listening to this podcast wants to say, this is something that I would like to learn. What are the 3 or 4 principles that and explain it to me with some nice examples so that people are able to get it.
No, absolutely. I mean, all we do is just tell stories, and I think that has to be a part of all of this. So, remind me if I forget to answer, but one of the things that we'll have to remember as teachers is that we do not have to know the answers. It is great for the inquisitive child to, keep asking questions, and, we'll feel frustrated that we don't know, but we'll have to say, dude, mujhe nahi aata. That's okay. My job was to put this kida in your mind, and it is great that you have these questions. Try to figure out, and, maybe I'll help you, but if I don't have time, I'm sorry, I won't be able to help you. But, I'm very happy that I have put this kida in your mind. It is your job to get the answer now. I'm being paid to just put this kida in your mind. It is not my, for whatever reason. So sometimes we get perturbed. We might say कि नहीं मुझे तो बताना ही है, और if I नहीं आ रहा तो हम बोलेंगे चुप रहे, बैठ जाओ, this and that. We don't have to get that. We'll have to realize our job was to just ignite, put the spark in your mind, and then, rest is history, whatever it is, right? And so first thing you were saying, what is it that we do? All our stuff that we do is, I think we put sort of things online. So the whole 22 days content, and it is, it can go to 30 days, this, that, whatever, is all online. And I think their fundamental goal is 2-3 things that we do, right? And we wrote actually a paper on, I think the paper was called How to Make Future-proof learning, something like that. Gaurav came up with this very cool idea, name. How is it that you can make education future-proof, right? So that it doesn't matter which. So uske 3 mujhe laga things that you will have to worry about, right? How is it? Okay, so tomorrow, let's say, Swami, I say, Swami, you're a teacher. You have to make your subject very engaging and inspiring and exciting, and so that every teacher attends. The test of how engaging you are, Swami, is to remove the attendance clause. From tomorrow, let's take out the, कल एक paper में ad निकाल देते हैं, और rule, Government of India and all state, actually Government of India cannot do because these are all state subjects. All states in India and union territories tomorrow will, put out an ad saying, nobody can ask for any attendance. Children will attend the class or not, if they wish to or not wish to. Imagine कितने लोग बच्चे school जाएंगे या college जाएंगे. You can get, the answer, right?
No. The answer is literally 0. No, which is really, I think, the challenge.
So I think that is the benchmark. And I'm not saying कि हमारी क्लास में 100 बच्चे हैं, 100 में से 100. No. I'm saying, यार बिना डंडे के कम से कम 15-20 तो आ जाए, या 30-40, और उसके लिए मेहनत करनी पड़ेगी. उसके लिए the previous content which was there by the previous instructor and either regurgitate it and put some PPT and this and that, आप करोगे, कोई नहीं आएगा, boss. Nobody is interested in PPT, right? And it requires serious effort. It requires, and online में तो और ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है. Otherwise, the guy will say, sorry sir, हमारी तो internet दूर है, I will not put my, I cannot put my video on. So video is off. Mute is off, and the bugger is doing whatever she is doing, right? I mean, you don't know what she's doing, right? I mean, she must be playing or this or that or whatever and it's okay. It is basically saying that आप जो खिला रहे हो वो बिल्कुल खिचड़ी है, कूड़ा है. You have to put the achar in whatever you are serving. And what is it that I was saying? We can just tomorrow say कि बहुत अच्छा content बना दो, but कैसे बनाए? What is the benchmark? And so there are 3 benchmarks and 3 recipes that I'm going to share. 3 benchmarks. How do I figure out that your stuff is good? Okay. 3 axes and 3 mutually different. 3 axes, and of course, sort of like X, Y, Z of axis, right? First axis, did I enjoy? That is how much, the enjoyment factor of the class. Second, whatever the curriculum that I wanted to cover or talk about, wo hua ki nahi? Okay. I wanted to talk about parabola, did that happen? I wanted to talk about ellipse, did that happen? Or whatever, right? Equation, linear, this, that, whatever. Third, did it have any impact on me as a person or on the listener as a person, or both? So imagine these are the 3 axes. Did I enjoy? Did I learn? And did it have an impact, right? 3 axes. So you take a film like, let's say you are doing a film course, right? Not math, right? And you have this film called Dhamal. Okay, I don't know if you've seen. I have not seen, but people say it's a great movie. मजा आया? Yes, number one. Okay. कुछ सीखा? Maybe. Some impact? Totally not, dude. Nothing, no impact, right? Now you take Taare Zameen Par. Okay. मजा आया? Little bit, right? कुछ सीखा? Yes. Impact? Yes. Okay. So 2 axes, maybe 1.5 axis. Then you take these 3 idiots, right? And it scores on all 3 boundaries. मजा आया, impact हुआ, सीखा, तीनों चीज चाहती, right? And that is what we are talking about. And that needs to happen. That it has to fall 3. उसके लिए मेहनत करनी पड़ेगी. उसके लिए आपको बहुत मेहनत से पिक्चर बनानी पड़ेगी, स्टोरी घुसानी पड़ेगी, जोक्स डालने पड़ेंगे, कंटेंट डालना पड़ेगा, स्टोरी की, all of that has to happen. And then the 3 things in to make all of this, like I said, 3 benchmarks, 3 things. One, we have to make sure that this stuff is interdisciplinary first. Look, when people dig deep a tunnel, they will draw a lot of these side tunnels, which will bring the oxygen when you are going deep. So when you are going deep in parabola, you will have to dig these side holes, which are talking of parabola to cricket. I'll take that example of parabola and go in details. But you have to connect it. The boundary between math and some other thing has to reduce. कुछ चीजों को और को जोड़ के करना पड़ेगा. Second, you have to tell stories. And you have to do things that children and teachers or students can relate to in their life. Gives them some sense of wonder. सोच पाना, उस तरह के सवाल पूछना. Interdisciplinary sense of wonder and give them something that is hands-on. हाथों से कुछ करके देख सकते हैं. 3 ingredients which can make this parabola interesting. So for instance, parabola, right? So how is it that we do parabola? Oh, today I'm going to talk about parabola. Y is equal to x square. And if you can see, if I take value of y, x is 1, y is 1. If x is 2, y is 4. And like that, it goes very fast. Its shape is like this, almost like a katori. And here is this problem. Find out the intersection of y is equal to x square with a straight line. You will see 2 points. Please find out. That is a homework. Submit it and I will check and give you 100 marks. End of parabola. If I do parabola, which we did, I will say, have you ever thought that if you hit a ball, what is something that is common between me hitting a cricket ball with my bat, or Kohli hitting or Dhoni doing, or Swami doing, right? Let's say all 4 of us do, and we will hit the ball at different angles, right? I might hit bilkul skyer, Dhoni might hit a flat 6, this, that, or whatever. Everybody, the most interesting thing? The most interesting thing about hitting a ball with a cricket bat is no matter who hits, whether you hit or I hit or Dhoni hits or whoever hits, the amount of distance that the ball falls in the first second is the same regardless of who hits.
Is it?
In the first second, the ball will always fall 5 meters almost. In the second, it will always fall 15 meters. In the third, 25. In the fourth, 35, things like that. That's it. No matter who hits, no matter at what angle, you can hit it directly, vertically up, or bilkul flat. Kaise bhi maro, yahi hoga. That is the definition of a parabola.
Okay.
Now, suddenly, there is a relationship between parabola and what people have actually seen in a cricket field or stadium, and a very non-intuitive or very different way of looking at a parabola. That the distance that it is falling in the vertical direction is constant, regardless of if मैं ज़्यादा force लगाता हूँ, ज़्यादा angle पर लगाता हूँ, तो मेरी ball ज़्यादा दूर जाएगी लंबाई में. But vertically, and I can then talk about laws of why does that happen, because it's gravity that is pulling. If I do the same thing on moon, instead of 5, it will fall 30 meters, but the response will be same. धोनी के लिए भी 30 मीटर गिरेगी, मेरे लिए भी गिरेगी, आपके लिए भी गिरेगी. If I do it in space, of course, the ball will never come back, and things like that. And then I can, so now I can do a lot of very, 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 very interesting things with parabola, along with how does a parabola look when it starts to start down, this, that, whatever. Man, we did this, right? We said, okay, parabola to ban gaya. Let's now make a parabola slide down. Imagine जो फिसल पट्टी होती है जिसपे बच्चे फिसलते. What if the parabola starts to slide down? What will it look like and when it's sliding down? And it's a very interesting curve that comes out, and tons of benefits. So it all depends on how am I able to engage you, right? What is the story that I tell? What is the content and what is the question that I leave in your mind with? And have I brought other subjects together? कुछ चीजें सब चीजों के लिए possible नहीं है. Absolutely fine, absolutely great. सब टॉपिक्स के लिए पॉसिबल नहीं, ग्रेट, बट एटलीस्ट किसके लिए तो है, और जिनके लिए है उनके लिए तो करें, पर मेहनत करनी पड़ती है इसकी. I mean, it requires effort, and if you fall in love, I mean, that effort will happen on your own, on its own.
So if I were to ask a question, so I think what you really did now, I was able to visualize, there was a spatial thinking in my mind around parabola, right? That's exactly what happened to me. Right?
Absolutely.
Now that I've had a spatial understanding of parabola, now the next question most children or most people ask is, what's the real application in life?
That's
right.
Fine.
Okay. So therefore, why do I have to read a parabola? Right. So that if I were asking that question, you want to make it relevant, which is one point that I saw you say, which is definition and application gap. You talk about that a lot, right? I found that very interesting. So let's take the parabola example and then say, oh, now what you did really beautifully was give me a spatial visualization of a parabola. Now there is an application gap that I am seeing. Now, how do you kind of, bring it, to my life?
Sure. No, lots of, in this case, it's actually simple. It's easier for me to do. It might be harder in other cases. And that's why I will also talk about the utilitarian view of education, which is, I think, one of the most important things that we should talk about. Otherwise, we also brainwash people by saying, oh, everything has an application. No. And so in this case, it's very easy, right? The other thing you were asking, how is it that you do 22-day workshop and how is it that people are interested? The first activity we do is, most of the thing that we do is very conceptual. We will start. So the question that we ask when teachers come, initial form, are you all Panchvi pass? Sabhi log Panchvi pass hai kya? Swami, are you Panchvi pass? Are you 5th class pass? Ye kya sawal hai? No, please make sure you are clear, because otherwise they're going to send your grades of long division to your boards and they will not like it. The point I'm trying to make is the things that we do at the level are some things that we have learned in grade 5. Unfortunately, we have only mugged them up. And the reason I'm telling you this story is because this is how my story started when I decided to, call Arvindji and work with him and all of that. That year, the PISA results had come out, right, 2012. And we were, first time India had taken that test. In fact, next year, India is going to take it again. And we were 73 out of 73 countries, right, in science, math, and English. Why? Because they were not asking the definition of density. That we will be number one. They were saying, what is the value of density? Why is it that, like you were asking, right? What's the need of density in your life? It turns out after the PISA results, they said 90% of our children learned nothing in all their 10 years of schooling that they did. It made no difference in their life. Now, that's a huge number, right? If you think about it, we can, of course, say, and maybe some of it is true, that those tests were not done in the right manner, they didn't have context, this, that, whatever. But even if we discount that and some of it is true, we should look at कि इस पढ़ाई का हमारी जिंदगी में कुछ फर्क पड़ा क्या? ये पढ़ाई का मेरी जिंदगी में अगर मैं नहीं पढ़ता तो कुछ मेरी, this education has to make my life a little better. That is why I should do education. Otherwise, why should I spend time, that is a fundamental question that we should ask as parents, as society members, and as policymakers and everybody, right? And that is something that is fundamental, which is what, came to our mind when we do this. Yaar, kuch to gadbad hai, and this is where we start. We will say, look, you have 100 rupees and you have to buy iron. Okay. You have two choices. You can buy 100 rupees a kg iron, or you can buy 100 rupees a liter iron. Which shop will you go and buy? And invariably, most of us will go buy 100 rupees a kg because iron is kg. Okay. Despite having mugged up, despite having read in class 5, then we go to class 5 and we show them an NCERT chapter where it is clearly said that a block of iron 10 centimeters long, 10 centimeters wide, 10 centimeter high, solid block is 1 liter, is 1000 cc, 1 liter. Right. So a solid iron can also be in liters, but we don't know. We anyways think it is liquid. Then we say, okay, this. I'm just giving you an example. We have this Swami right in front of me. How many liters is Swami? Oh, Swami is not in liters. Swami is a solid. We just said that Swami can be in liters because he occupies space. In fact, a lot of space. So he must be there in liters. So how do we figure out how many liters is Swami? So, this is interesting. Now we need to talk about Archimedes. No Archimedes. And then Archimedes is a different story that takes about 1 hour itself. What if you have nothing? I am seeing Swami right in front of me. How do I tell how many liters is Swami? Then it becomes interesting. We will have to do these games. We will have to do these, such activities. I know that the human density is very close to 1. We are 85% water, but our density is very close to 1. That's why we actually do not drown, literally. We drown till our heads, but we drown because we cannot breathe. Our noses, we do not, if you dive in a pool, you can never touch the bottom of the pool. You will be, hanging in there because you are almost 1, right? Your density is 1. So it is very clear. In fact, a little more than 1, depending on whether you have air inside or less or whatever. But let's assume because we drown, let's say we are a little bit more than 1. So if I know if Swami is 70 kgs, he must be 68 liters because that's the definition of density. Mass by volume. If it is greater than 1, his volume has to be a little less than the weight. That's it. That's it. And that is why when I buy oil, I should buy in kg and not in liter, because oil is lighter than water. Now, this is where I'm applying. What I learned in school, or what I should have learned in school, or what should I have experienced when I learned the definition of a density, that when I buy oil in kg, I get more oil instead of buying in liter, and vice versa for solid and things like that, and lots of different things. This is what we do. We will make it very experiential. First times in your life, you will experience density. You will experience density. You will not learn density. You will not get the formula. You will experience it. You will figure out that this 1 liter empty bottle of water, which if you feel a lot of nails, you can feel that it will be very heavy, more than 1 kg, right? You feel, iron nails in 1 liter bottle of water. That is 1 liter of iron, not 1 kg of iron. That is how we'll do. And I don't know what question you were asking. I forgot.
No, I think the fact that how do you make it? How you make it application oriented, right?
Application oriented, right. So you were saying parabola, right? Of course, we have made it very. It is super application. In fact, there is a story. There is a very interesting story, right? We will read in class, I think 11. That, if you point, by the way, you shoot a gun, right? These Bofors guns and this and that, it always follows a parabola. We'll learn that in class 9 or 11 or whatever. It takes the shape of a parabola, right? Any ball, volleyball, football, cricket ball, everyone takes the shape of a parabola. So and for you to shoot the farthest, for a bowler to throw from the boundary line to the wicket keeper, you should throw it at 45 degrees, because at that angle it goes the farthest, right? Horizontal distance covered. Of course, vertical distance, like we discussed, is the same, and so on and so forth. It turns out that they had to figure out, when they made this machine, the longest ever gun ever made was called this, I think it was called the Paris gun. Big Bertha, some people also call it Big Bertha. I think about 110 feet long muzzle. 100 feet long, that Nali.
Okay.
Biggest gun ever made by the Germans. And they wanted to fire and land their gola on Paris. And they said, what angle should we throw this at so that it goes the farthest? People like me, engineers like me, said, we have read in class 11, you should put at 45. And they did. And it landed short. It didn't go where it should have gone. And then they sort of realized that with experience, or maybe whoever, I don't know, somebody who has not had this kind of formal schooling said, make it 51. And I think they made it 55 or 51, I forget. 10 degrees more than what the book says it should be. And then it went 50 miles further. Why?
Oh, is it?
Yeah. So when you are firing, really, you don't fire at 45. Because 45 is true only when there is no air drag, when there is no friction, when there is no gravity, all of that stuff, right? But in or Earth spinning around, there is Coriolis force and this and that, which is a little higher order thing. But regardless, right? Even just taking into drag, the reason it goes higher when you even aim higher. If you do 90 degree, it will fall on your head, right? And that's not good. So the reason you do it 45, 55, and we leave this as the answer, ask our teachers to sort of think about why, right? Why do you think it should go higher, even though the mathematics says it should be much lower? Because when you shoot it higher, it goes higher in the atmosphere. And higher in the atmosphere, there is less air, right? And so it has less friction, less air drag, and that's why even a little bit speed, it can, take it much farther. And of course, अब बहुत ज़्यादा ऊपर ले जाओगे तो उसकी horizontal speed कम हो जाएगी, तो इसलिए so there are two things, opposing things that are coming together, and that's why the answer is not 45, it is actually 55. This is very application, super application. आप देखो, आप अगली बार से जब आप क्रिकेट बॉल पे छक्का मारो या बाउंड्री लाइन से फेंको तो you figure out कि किस एंगल पर मारे ताकि सबसे ज्यादा दूर बॉल जाए. This is application, it is required. But I will also say this, right? I think we cannot make, and we should not, right? We have to realize that education or subject or this is also inherently joyous, and that has to be also the one of the focus, right? Next time when you go watch you go on Riverfront, is a good place in Ahmedabad, right next to Sabarmati, nice place, this, that. Or you go to Ooty or Shimla or wherever. You go there and you watch the scenery, nice, beautiful, right? It feels nice. Do you ever ask, what is the relationship of this in my life? इससे क्या मुझे फायदा मिलेगा? No. You don't do that, right? When you go look at a good painting, you don't say, oh, am I going to get a good job by watching this painting or watching a good movie? No, you do it because it just feels nice. It is joyous. And I think some of the things in the subject have to be also told and done like that. Yes, it is joyous. Maybe not for you, and that's okay. Maybe Swami के लिए ये चीज joyous नहीं है, but ऐसा नहीं हो सकता यार. सब कुछ ऐसा unjoyous हो, ऐसा भी नहीं है, right? We will just show you beautiful things and which are joyous in their own right. It doesn't have to be a utility value. I think this is the biggest problem with education today. I had written a note about why a lot of people are not pursuing medicine in the middle class, right? I mean, you look at your WhatsApp group, I guarantee you no young child is pursuing medicine, right? Because एसी में रहने को इतना मेहनत करना पड़ता है, पैसे भी ज्यादा नहीं मिलते. Why should do it? Might as well just do computer science. I will get money and sit in a We have, in fact, and I think that it's a huge thing that one should be worried about as a society, right? I think we have associated education with utility. What is the utility? इसका क्या फायदा? इससे मुझे क्या मिलेगा? इससे and everything is associated with faida is okay, but faida is being measured in only one term, right? And that term is the job and the money. That's it. We are not measuring it with self-esteem, satisfaction, this, that, these second order intangible, supposedly intangible, but which have huge influence in my life. Absolutely. I mean, I'm making much less. I'm making, maybe I've never calculated, but maybe 40, 50 times less than what I used to do in terms of salary and, all of this. But that does not mean it is not valuable for me, what I do. Right? So, ये सवाल तो पूछना पड़ेगा ना माँ बाप को. ये सवाल तो टीचर को पूछना पड़ेगा. Yes, you get a good job at wherever you are. But there are, like they say, कोई ad होता है ना, there are lots of things in life that money can buy for, all of that, right? So I think that is something that we'll have to look at. Education, yes, it has to be utilitarian, it has to make sense, but everything cannot be boiled down to utility. There is inherent joy and maza in the subject itself that can and should be enjoyed, and different things for different people.
No, absolutely. I am in 100% agreement with you, and in fact, it resonates with me because that's really, I'm an engineer, but I went into advertising, right? So therefore, suddenly I had to, solve ambiguous problems. As an engineer, I was always looking at flow charts and things like that. But suddenly they told me a problem where, say, make people buy mutual funds. Okay. And I was in a world where people thought UTI was not a mutual fund. Right. So therefore, I had to go and advertise for a mutual fund. So then I had to build the problem very differently. So sure. I'm in 300% agreement with you. Now that you've done the teacher training, you've built a certain amount of fire and spirit in their mind. Does a part of your job also go back and then say, how do they apply it in the schools that they go back, and therefore what kind of outcomes are you able to measure with this kind of an approach? Have you
Interesting question. Yeah. No, I think it's an interesting question. No, I think it's a good question and interesting. And we get asked this question a lot, right? What is it that impact and how? And of course, lots of answers. Of course, too early to measure. These are long-term things that we are looking at in some sense, and I'm not trying to evade the question, and there is an importance, right? We should measure what is it, and we did some exercise. We worked with Ahmedabad Municipal Corporation. We went to 274 of their schools, and we had a pre-test and post-test, and clearly post-test showed that the results were much better. I don't remember the numbers, but results were much better than the pre-test, right? So children do get the concepts that we're talking about. Children do get interested in things that we're going to do. Does it have an impact in their lives? That's a very long study. I don't think we've done that. With respect to the teachers that we have worked with, the moment the teachers come and register, they become a part of this WhatsApp group, right? That we sort of maintain in most cases with most of our workshops, and they are always part of that group, right? And anything that new that we do. So the most interesting thing that we do, or at least I would say, other than the soul or whatever, the energy that we sort of require to do all this work, to carry on this work, is that WhatsApp group, right? It is so amazing to read their messages, to read their pictures, to read their, to share the pictures that they sent of what they did in their classes. So what happens is, whatever we do with them, they invariably try to do the same activities or similar activities in their classes. And then they will send these pictures and share the stories of how the classes. If you look at this program that we did, 30/30 STEM, the feedback is all there online, 30/30 STEM / feedback, ccliitgnac.in/30/30 STEM/feedback. It's very clear. People are saying this is the only way. The activities that we saw in 30/30 STEM are the only things that are interesting enough, and that is what we do, even in online. The jhalar that we make out of the longest 30-meter garland you can make from a simple A4 sheet of paper. Or fold it 11 times and measure the thickness, and if you fold it 43 times, you'll reach the moon. And stories like that. Those are the things that are happening in the classes. Right, the graduation cap thing that we do, where we make 7 different kind of caps, and then we talk about rational numbers and irrational numbers and mensuration and things like that. Those are the activities. So all of the activities which sort of can be done, I would say a lot of things also are interesting and grounded. They are being done in the schools. All the teachers who are coming, they are actually doing these activities in the classes. So in terms of whether it is leading to a change in terms of the marks, I don't know. And in that sense, we will also have to design our questions in that regard, right? Our questions are not designed in the way that, really tests for the understanding, in my opinion. And they are very, designed in a different manner. Hopefully all the boards are actually, interestingly, CBSE board and maybe others also are actually looking at doing some changes in that. And whether they are, longer term in their lives or whatever, I don't know. I have heard people saying, this is the first time that I feel proud to be a maths teacher, and I want my son to pursue. This is the feedback that I'm getting. Other people are saying, I want to come to IIT Gandhinagar because I want to see this is what IIT does. This is what is happening in IIT, and I want to, be part of this, whatever movement. So hopefully some changes. We haven't done that measurement at that scale. 1 crore people watched, 1 crore views of the program, but I don't think we did this survey of other than whatever messages people sent. We are a very small team, by the way. Very, very small.
No, I understand that. And honestly, the reason I asked this question is I've been talking to a lot of people who have gone to the best of the institutes, right? Then they fly off to the US, they go to a Stanford, they go to a Cornell, and then I had one person tell me that I never understood dy by dx. I was in IIT, okay? But the way Holmes taught me dy by dx with real-life applications in Cornell really was when I understood dy by dx, right? So therefore, this is a podcast that a person told me, okay?
Right.
So therefore, what I'm really looking for is the transformation of our educational institutions to that level.
Sure.
Is really what we are looking at. And that's the reason I'm wanting to measure it. Because the way I am seeing it is, if you don't do that, it has to become a massive movement. And,
absolutely.
And that's really where I think the work that you are doing is phenomenal, because how do you make it a movement and we ensure that there are teachers who explain these concepts to kids very well, and then ask them the question, leave them with a inquisitive question or a curiosity.
Absolutely.
That I think is very critical. How we do that on scale is something that that's the reason I asked that question.
No, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. And I think we are working, and that is where, we will probably start. In fact, your podcast, when it goes out, maybe can reach out. We will start this series called the Eklavya series now. We did 30-30 STEM, and people really liked it. And we had this people saying, look, you connected the heart and the head and the heart. Right, head is where you are, but it was also the connection at the heart. Right, there was a lot of emotional connect we had with the viewers, and we had the board. We are working with CBSE to see if we can do it together. But CBSE was very interested to do this again with us because we actually together we did a great job. So we are now trying to do this Eklavya series. And Eklavya, of course, is a reason, right? Eklavya, children are sitting at home. There are no Dronacharyas. And so this is the name we came up with or somebody suggested. And so this will be 30-30 Eklavya. And the idea is the same or similar, but this time we are trying to reach to the students also along with the last time the focus was teachers. So of course, I mean, the idea is to reach out. And in that sense, I think working with schools, working with the boards will be extremely important. All our stuff that we did in 30-30 STEM, all, I think 26 lectures are all on the Diksha platform. Diksha platform is a place where every teacher, whether it is private school or public school, are supposed to go and do their teacher trainings and this and that. And so all our episodes are there. I think 13 are there. The first season is there. The second season, it takes time, to go through all the process and this and that to get the stuff there. So hopefully it will be there. And we are trying to convert that into smaller segments. Right now they're 50-minute videos or 75-minute videos, and we're trying to make them small chunks, something that talks about parabola or something that talks about, A4 sheet of paper, ratio, proportion, this, that, whatever. So once that is done, it will be a great resource for every teacher to sort of look at and then make a lesson plan or whatever they want to based on that, right? आज मैं ये पढ़ाने वाला हूँ या पढ़ाने वाली हूँ, I'll try to figure out what is it that I want to do and then use this as a resource and do these activities in the class and make it interesting. We are looking at that level. We are looking, hopefully, I don't know how it will go, but hopefully more people will like it and watch it.
Fantastic. There was one more thing that I saw which attracted my attention, Professor Manish, was you talked about how our education builds in an economy of fear. Okay. And that's something that you spoke about. So can you talk about what is that economy of fear our education builds in our people?
Can you give me some context so then I can relate it better?
No. So what you are really saying is that once you finish this education, there is this whole fear of I have to earn so much. Now that I have to buy this house, then I have to do this. So then you are constantly fighting, and therefore you are then left in your career with the economy of fear because you're constantly wanting to achieve something. That's really what I think you spoke about. And what then happens is, and interestingly, this is something that Ashwin Mahalingam also spoke about, saying that investment is not just till you get your degree, but you also have to invest after you get the degree, right?
Absolutely.
You can't reap the dividends just after you get the graduation. So I saw a very, very interesting comparison with your economy of fear, because then I'm actually running behind because I know if I lose this, I don't get this. If I don't lose this, I don't get that. That's really what I think you spoke about, right?
So I think 2-3 things. I think one, of course, if I look at fear itself, then there is, I would say, good fear and bad fear, right? And some of that is maybe required. But even before that, right? Yesterday, or I think a couple of days back, I read this very interesting article which said, why are we working so goddamn much? Something like that. That was the title. There is this show called the Ezra Klein Show. I don't know if you know about it. It is done in New York Times, and this is actually a podcast like yours, right? And so maybe you should read it. Very interesting. You'll get interesting people and ask. So there's this person, I forget his or her name. Now that I don't even remember if it was a male or a female, but regardless. So she was saying in 1938, no, this was this very famous economist, one of the most famous Maynard Keynes or
okay,
some
Keynes, okay,
Keynes or some famous economist, right at the height of depression, right in 1938, he made this statement, or 28, he made this statement that 100 years from now, the society will be in such abundance that we will be working 15 hours a week. Okay, that's the statement that he made. And so this was a talk about that, right? Why? And the title is also why the damn are we working so something like that. So that is that. And so now she say, or he says, or whoever the author was saying that this abundance thing, at least with respect to US, they have finished 20-30 years before, right? I mean, the amount of abundance that person was talking about, 30 saal, 40 saal pehle ho gaya. People have abundance, super abundance in terms of food, mostly 90%, 95, whatever, right? Large percentage, right? Correct. But still, they're working much more because the abundance has created this more needs, more wants, more every. वो खत्म हो गया तो नई चीज becomes a need, right? So the whole thing has become more need. One need is finished, and before that another need has been planted in my mind, in my opinion, right? I mean, the biggest thing in my opinion in that sense is this TV, right? I've heard some people that if you have to fix violence in the world or make the world a better place, just get rid of TV across the world, right? I mean, all that TV does is tell you, oh, you are bald, you should buy this. Oh, tumhara color kharab hai. The whole point of a TV is to tell you what is wrong with you and make you work harder and go slog to buy something and then come relax in front of a TV, and then TV will tell you again. So it just tells you all that is wrong with you. It never tells what is right, right? पूरे टाइम the purpose of advertisement is to tell you wrong. ये दे रहा हूँ तुम्हारे साथ, ये गड़बड़, and everything will get fixed if you work harder and go and and that I think has become the mantra of our life. A beautiful film called The Story of Stuff by I forget Annie Leonard. Okay. Right, from Berkeley. Beautiful 18-minute film, animated film, Story of Stuff. And then she made lots of other films, Story of Bottled Water, Story of Cosmetics, this, that, whatever. But, Stuff was it. And there she talks about it. And I think that is where this thing keeps on driving, this fear of we don't know what is going to happen. We are in a state, maybe our parents were not, right? Where they were not sure whether, there will be food on the table. Yeah. Large middle class today in India is sort of assured of food on the table. Maybe not paneer, but definitely, regular roti sabji and regular achar. Achar mil jata hai yaar. Sadharan achar is something, whether it is achar or whatever achar is totally available. Maybe not paneer. And I'm not saying we should not dream of paneer. And paneer is just a word for, let's assume, money.
Exotic food or whatever.
Exotic or whatever you want to call it. But we are assured. So somewhere there has to be talk. When I talk about education, it is not just math and science. In fact, the reason people come and sit in 22 days for our talks, I would say 60-70% maybe will be science and math, but the 30-40% will be something else. Okay. Will be the real purpose of what the education or science is. Story of this guy, Haber, Fritz Haber, the guy who got a Nobel Prize in 1937 for inventing Haber's process, which is urea, which is why there is so much food today in the world that, we survive. I mean, in fact, some people say half the population today is alive because of this guy called Fritz Haber, right? Because he invented urea, very commercial, and because of which you can grow more food than we need, and so on and so forth. But I would say he is also the person because of which 80% of fishes have died because urea runoff. He is also the person because of which we grow so much food that we can grow so much animals and then we kill those animals and eat, right? I mean, if there is not so much corn, we wouldn't have so many, cows in the US or in that we can kill and eat them, right? I mean, so it has multiple stories. But unless we are going to talk about this, ये तो हमें पता ही नहीं है ना.
Correct.
We have no idea. We have no examples of people who are saying, look, I need this much, and I have decided that whether it is whoever, and there has to be there has to be talk about why it is that I am doing what I am doing. Like I said, right, शुरू में मैं बोल रहा था ना कि बहुत जरूरी है ये सोचना कि हम ये जो कर रहे हैं वो क्यों कर रहे हैं.
Exactly.
ये बहुत जरूरी है. और अगर ये बातें नहीं होंगी, if these are not the talks that are happening in with teachers, then everybody is ending up becoming which is great, become an engineer, but उससे सवाल तो पूछना पड़ेगा भाई, उससे क्या होगा? अगर आपके पास already इतना, your parents are well off, you have a business, this, that, whatever, one has to pause and think, why I want to do what I really want to do. Absolutely. And I think that is very critical to this fear thing that you're talking about.
So I wanted to ask a question, couple of last set of questions, which is really, how did you pitch the Creative Center of Learning at IIT Gandhinagar? And that's something that interests me a lot, because this is totally, offbeat, right? Therefore, you don't get to see a Creative Center of Learning anywhere, and then you just go out and say, I want to build this, and then you're given a space to do it. So how did you go about pitching this, and what should schools and colleges do to set up these kind of Creative Center of Learning so that they become places of they become the coffee shop of learning, right? If I were to call it. Yeah.
No, I'm just wondering, how is it that you get these questions in your head? I think it's a very, very interesting question, and I sometimes, I'm amazed, Swami, by your, of course, the kind of questions you have in your mind. I think it's a very, very fundamental, important question. Of course, it has a story, and I'll tell you that story, right? So it was 2000, I think 14 or 15, something like that. And in that sense, I would say IIT Gandhinagar is probably the only place in the whole country, if I don't know about the world or whatever, which has such lab. Nowhere in this, and especially in an IIT which is supposed to do something else or whatever, right? I mean, no other place that I know of. And as a result, I think wherever we have done these workshops in lots of these IITs, every single director is saying, why don't you start something here? Why don't we start something here, either as collaboration or this or that? In fact, when I went to IIT Kanpur, the director said, "Yaar, tum wo chhod ke yahan jao, yahan pe you are from Kanpur, why don't you do that?" I said, no. So anyways, I think it's a very interesting question. 2014 or 15, I remember IIT. So I think IIT Gandhinagar is a different place in my opinion. So it's a very different place, very different environment. The ethos is different. The philosophy is different. The reason why we do what we do is very different. Engineers तो बना ही देंगे यार, उसमें क्या बड़ी बात है? अगर एक बार बच्चा IIT में आ गया तो इंजीनियर तो बनेंगे. That बच्चे will be an engineer anyway. Can we make them something more than an engineer? Right? That is the philosophy here. Right? Other than the engineer. Now, along with the engineer, let's put it that way, right? अच्छे इंसान बन सकते हैं क्या यार, or more realized engineers, or whatever you want to call it, right? And that is why 8 humanities courses in the whole, right? Every semester, 1 humanities course. No engineering college does that, right? We do this foundation program, all explorers fellowship, this, that, whatever. But so in that sense, we used to have this program called foundation program. First 6 weeks when you enter IIT, no classes, no formal classes. 6 weeks. Other IITs are saying, the children when they come here, they're saying, हमारे वो जो साथी है वो फलानी IIT में गया है, उनके तो अभी पूरा कैलकुलस, डबल कैलकुलस भी सिखा दिया, ट्रिपल कैलकुलस भी सिखा दिया, हमारे यहाँ तो चालू ही नहीं करा. 6 हफ्ते, nothing. They are just doing drama and dance and creativity and workshop with Manish and this, that, whatever. ये सब कर. Why? Because we really feel that is what will ignite that creativity, bring back that mojo which you've lost preparing for this exam. Right? I mean, that is what is required to get you a little grounded, right? And so on and so forth. So that is why we do this program. So, long story short, 2015, I think, somehow, I think the organizers here of the foundation program came to know about, Arvind Gupta and they called Arvind Gupta to come and give a workshop. Arvind Gupta, of course, didn't want to travel, and he said, Manish, why don't you go? And so that's how I ended up coming here. I did a 2-day workshop with the first year students. And apparently it was supposedly the best workshop that they had in the whole thing. I think the director came to know about it. He called me for a meeting. In fact, the director is a very interesting chap. So
I listened to him. I listened to him also. I was amazed.
So he had actually just came from the US that particular day in the morning, right? And evening I was taking my train back to Pune, right, 10 o'clock. And he finished his meeting at 8:30 or something. And he said, why don't you come meet me? I said, sir, I heard, I have a train at 9:30. He said, no, it's okay. I mean, we have half an hour, we'll sit. So he like, he's an amazing guy. So he called me at 8:30. I had my train to catch at 10 or something like that. Overnight train from Ahmedabad to Pune. And he said, and he said, very interesting program I've heard. And I said, yeah, hame acha lagta hai. That is why we're doing. And he asked about my background, this and that. And he said, Manish, why don't you start a lab here? How much is your kharcha in Pune? I said, this amount. He said, that's it. Okay. This plus 10 lakhs more. Here is the check. Start it from tomorrow.
My God.
there's no, we are not asking questions and approvals. This that. Kal se chalu kar do. Yahan pe aa jao. ऐसे नहीं आता है sir. I have commitments or whatever. There is a project that is going on. So he kept following up. I was also interested, and I think when the project there, Arvindji retired, project got over. 2017, we decided to start that lab, and I could see a lot of possibilities here. Given this place as a and that is one of the reasons why we have been able to reach out to so many people, is because the environment here, the philosophy, the belief in doing something that can have a larger impact, that is more meaningful, and all of that stuff in this campus in IIT. So that is how it started. I think it's the place, and I hope we have had lots of people who are saying, why don't you start this in help us start this in every, and that is what we want. This place should not be limited to IIT Gandhinagar. There's nothing, I mean, there is special, but there, it's not a lot of money that you need and things like that. You just need good, you just need people, right? I mean, people who are interested. And so hopefully because of this program, more people are getting interested. We are also trying to put everything that we are trying to do. I mean, because we are a small team, it will take time. Everything that we have done online. So we are creating this 100 series of 100 videos. And you have this 200, very small box, a small box which has all these, saman, right? Straws, magnets, fire, this, that, whatever. And explanatory, beautiful activity videos using which you can, do a lot of this stuff and start your own lab. You would be, I mean, and that is where I think CBSE and other state boards are actually interested to see that such corners can be toy-based pedagogy.
In fact, I would agree that this kind of pedagogy is the future, because you have to really ignite the mind.
Absolutely.
And that's really what I'm excited about. And I want to end up with a last question to you,
sure.
Which is, if you were to become a 10-year-old and advise your 10-year-old self 3 things, what would be the 3 pieces of advice would you give yourself? You discovered it when you were 38, right? But imagine you were a 10-year-old and you were to advise your 10-year-old, now that you've had so much of experience.
There is something very interesting. I actually ask a lot of my friends, which is what I would say, hey, if you have to go back, right, and assume that you cannot take anything that you learned in, a lot of times we say, no, my childhood was very good, I want to go back, abhi adulthood mein maja nahi hai. So imagine if you have an option of going back, but you cannot take any wisdom, anything that you have learned from here. Do you want to relive your childhood, or because childhood was better than adulthood?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think most of, at least why would I want to repeat the same thing? If I go back and I don't carry anything, I will be doing exactly the same thing that as I did. So what's the point on spending more time doing the same thing? I've learned so many things in my life. So I'm actually confused by the question that you are asking. And that's
the question that I'm asking is, at the age of 38, you discovered the joy of learning something.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
But imagine if you actually knew it when you were 10, right? So then what would, the amount of things that you would not have wasted 20 years doing it, right? So therefore, if you were to advise a 10-year-old, say that, I think there are lots of advice you've already given, but I would say, don't learn for the sake of learning. Find the joy of doing.
No, so
right?
I would actually say, I hope this has not been an advice session, right? Because I don't think that is how I wanted it to be. It is just an honest sharing. I actually think, if I look back, I would not want it to be any different. I think there is value in that realizing that there was whatever, not much, and this and that. There is a lot of value. There is not in terms of, of course it would have been better if I had been engaged at the age of 10, I found joy. But there is a lot of value that maybe I wouldn't be so passionate about, making a difference, making a change, making impact, this, that, had I not gone through that grief in some sense, right? Now I know how what I missed if I didn't miss, maybe I won't have that pain, right? I mean, it is so. I don't know what to say except
it's a beautiful.
I think there is a value. There is a value to going through that pain and loss and whatever it is, right? Because that also gives you a lot of stuff to actually do something. Imagine if everything is rosy, this, that, or whatever. I don't know. I mean, it is good that people know, that there is joy in mathematics, this and that. But at some time, it is also more joyous having gone through that 19,000. I'm not saying we should, but that 19,200 hours of khichdi is also in that sense. I would not. I would actually say it is. I would not change. I would let it be the way. If I had to, I would not let it. It is just fine. It is just. I think it is
fantastic.
Okay.
I've actually not heard an answer like this, so that itself is a great thing. So thank you very much. It was a energizing conversation, I must say. I learned a lot, and the enthusiasm and the inspiration with which you said things is really what has even motivated me. So thanks a lot, and it was absolutely.
It was a pleasure.
It was phenomenal talking to you. Thanks a lot, and I'm sure we'll have a lot of episodes coming out with you, and I think it's been one of the best conversations I've ever had.
Well, it is a pleasure. Thank you so much, Ryan.
Thanks for listening to my conversation with Professor Manish Jain. For selected links and detailed show notes, visit www.contraminds.com/blog. Follow ContraMinds on social media and let us know who you would like to see next on the podcast. If you are listening to ContraMinds on Apple Podcasts, do share your comments and give us a rating. We are keen to know what you are thinking. ContraMinds is also on YouTube. If you are listening to the podcast on YouTube, hit the subscribe button and stay up to date on all our releases. Thanks for listening and stay safe.